And welcome everyone on behalf of the World Unity Week. But before I do that, let me just introduce John. So John, you're supposed to kind of introduce the general thing, but I get to introduce you. So a number of years ago, when this idea was gestating, the second incarnation of this idea was gestating, John showed up in my life and he showed me this video of this crazy guy dancing. And he said, that first person that's willing to hang out and dance with you, that's the guy I am. So he danced with me and we kind of went into this co-creative mode. And he was a profoundly important thinking partner. Any of you have POE zones in your future? That term was coined by John. So John, we did our first dance together. And now we get to dance another time. I'm so grateful for all that you brought to me and the encouragement you gave to me and getting this idea off the ground. And when I was saying 2030, I was going down my journey. John was there with me. We were learning how to hold this crazy idea of 2030, peace on earth. John, hand it off to you to welcome everyone.
Oh, David. I am the luckiest guy in the world. Not only am I married to Summer Joy, but I get to hang out in the presence of such genius. David, you've changed my life. Emmanuel, you've changed my life. Charles, you've changed my life. Julie, you've changed my life. I could almost name it for everyone in this room. We are very privileged. Thank God we get to play, okay? Because for me, we need to figure out how we come together in unprecedented ways. We started the compassion games. I was inspired by that leadership lessons from the dancing guy. This guy said, this is how you make a movement in 3 minutes, everything you need to know. And he says, there's that lone nut, but it's not the lone nut, it's the first follower that turns the lone nut into the leader. So I'm not saying you're a lone nut, David.
Well, I am actually, John, but I can handle it.
Maybe I am saying that, but in this metaphor, yes. But your wisdom about social change, needing behavior change at scale, your scholarly work on the topic has informed and uplifted all of us. And if we all haven't had that catapult yet with David and his work, that's one of the gifts of our 99 days together. So we're here to learn. Teresa said, we're not building to last, we're building to learn. So if we can use that space, Dr. Tamsin Woolley Barker talks about this biomimicry dimension in nature and how that swarm creativity. I'm praying for swarm creativity, that we figure out how those starlings move together and how we can learn to love and empower each other and ourselves together and activate the whole movement. It's like all of these different expressions have a different appearance, but the essence is identical. So if we love to play games like compassion games here, like Peace on Earth, but the game, or it's your presentation or your stewarding of a room or your declaring of a mission, that's what we're creating a space for. So let's use this time, David. Thank you for bringing your genius to life. Thanks for your steadfast dedication. You and Gail have changed the world. You've changed our world. Let's play. Game on.
Okay, thank you, John. So in a moment, I'm going to share a video with you that will give you a good feel for what this thing is, this idea of peace on earth by 2030, what the game is. But before I do that, let me just say a little background. So this is a big idea. We are putting an idea into the world that is implausible for most people. Implausible because of our current state of the world. How can in 7 years we transition from where we are to a place that we have no idea about? Is it possible? What would it take for something like this to be possible? What would it take for us to believe in such an idea? What would it take for humanity to believe in such an idea? What would humanity look like? What would the world look like if this actually succeeded? What does it take to be a dream keeper? What gives me hope is that I watched in 1986 the world come together, and for 86 days, wherever the torch of peace went, there was peace on earth. We can change things. It is possible. What will it take for this to happen at this scale? Well, my belief, my theory of change, if you will, is that when people play this game, as John did and so many others did and do, it transforms them. And when it transforms them, they show up in a new way in relationship to one another. And when they show up in a new relationship to one another, peace on earth doesn't seem like a far-fetched idea, because the game does the heavy lifting. And then when we move from that into these peace on earth zones, which is another gift of John, that term, I don't know what we would have called it if it wasn't POE zone. So thank you, John, for being one of our namers in chief on the planet for cool things. Then it starts to grow. And we have the good fortune today of having two POE zone leaders from Africa here to tell their story of how the game and how this POE zone idea is taking shape in in Kenya and in South Africa. So we'll look forward to having them speak. Another part of what we're doing is that we have learned that you can't change the world without a lot of partners. So we've assembled 23 partners. I want to thank Emmanuel. Hi, my brother Emmanuel. The Holy Movement Gathering, one of the outcomes were that about 18 of these partners were there, and they said yes to this idea. So it is a cooperative venture to create peace on earth. A number of our partners will be speaking today as well about why they've chosen a partner. Emmanuel and Laura are one of the partners as well, and what it looks like to partner. So those of you that might want to be a partner will have an opportunity to see what that looks like. And those of you that might want to be a POE zone leader will have an opportunity to see what that looks like. And those of you that might want to play the game will have an opportunity to see what that looks like. We have many of our partners here, so I look forward to honoring as many as I can over the course of time. Tammy's another one that'll be speaking. David Wick will be speaking. Antoinette, we don't formally have you slotted, but we'll give you a few minutes. We were thinking we were going to get a video version, but we'll invite you to speak as well. Okay, so let me show you the video, and then we'll go into hearing more from others.
What if peace on Earth was actually possible?
40 million people is 1/2 of 1% of humanity. 1/2 of 1% is a tipping point when you start to tip consciousness. We're hoping to have 40 million people playing the game.
The game, the Peace on Earth game. Wow, it is a life changer. I had the honor of being the team leader. We were in the alpha pilot phase, so it was just the very first time the game was being tested and played.
I truly believe we're in one of the greatest time periods on our whole planet.
Time has come.
I'm so alive with this game, and I'm seeing relationships really shift. It really comes from the different actions.
It's about behavior change. It's demanding. The game is not a walk in the park.
As soon as I was invited to be a player and then a team leader, and to find my own team leaders, I was just really loving all of the actions.
Peace on Earth by 2030 Game Team.
I believe that every human being deserves to live in peace.
Free of war, free of violence, free of hate.
I was deeply shifted by both being a team leader and by playing the game.
Help us move this Peace on Earth initiative forward.
What if it was not only possible, but could be achieved by 2030? We invite you to be one of the planet's dream keepers and accept this sacred fire as a torchbearer for our future as a species. We are building a movement of dream keepers, those who believe peace on Earth is possible and are committed to making it a reality.
It adds clarity and it adds credibility to our work that we're already doing.
Each week, my hope became deeper, my belief that something as abstract as peace could be possible, because all of us were doing these incredible actions together.
It can completely lift you up as a guide for this peace revelation, helping to evolve our planet.
Helping bring a really amazing renaissance of new thinking and change and hope for the planet. And we're right in the middle of being awake to that, and it's really happening.
We are part of a game.
Helping to create positive change on the planet.
We're bringing change, and that we're not going to stop until we do it. And it's super exciting.
This is actually how Peace on Earth works. One community at a time, one POE zone at a time. And the eternal flame idea, which came out of the experience of the Earth Run when we were passing the fire around the world, there were these eternal flames created, lots of them.
And during the first Earth Run, they carried the torch of peace around the planet. And there's so many stories and testimonials of how when people saw the flame, they were just in awe or brought into this mythical space of imagining peace on the planet already. And there's still a flame going at the site of Buddha's birthplace and multiple other eternal flames going around the planet from when the Earth Run happened. Everywhere that there's a Peace on Earth zone that happens, we're encouraging every zone to light an eternal flame somewhere in their region, their city, their town, or wherever they're claiming as their Peace on Earth zone.
But what we want to do is start to create eternal flames in all these communities. It's peace sanctuaries and pilgrimage sites.
Most of us in Afghanistan, we have lost our childhood, with shootings, with explosions. We are working to build peace. I am thinking of a world, I'm closing my eyes, imagining and visualizing, a world which everyone is happy, no more killings, where peace is everywhere. I believe that every human being, we are all equal, and I believe that every human being deserves a better life than this.
The peace game is getting done through the racial justice training, making it multiracial, and it goes across the country, goes across the world. Then there would be deep friendships developing. But now is the time. This is the time to embrace the shift that God has provided us.
So we've had a lot of excitement in our community, even youth that are playing, that this is giving them hope to help with climate change, helping with curing hunger in our community, working on some big greenhouse projects here. We've worked really hard on creating a new website that just went live as well, too, where you can learn all about the game.
Watch Peace on Earth happen in 1 decade.
So the game works at 2 levels, behaviorally and consciousness-wise.
What if enough people playing a game could tip the world into this reality? These 7 actions are designed as a global game that will take place between 2020 and 2030.
Each player within each action participates on their growing edge, no further than they can go. However, they have to stretch. They have to get out of their comfort zone.
Everyone on our team had these beautiful miracles happening every day. The personal experience of playing the game is deeply moving, but then there's this collective experience within your 5 to 8 people that you're playing with, where you can come back and just see, oh my goodness, 5 to 8 people can truly start to shift a huge area around us. I think just the 8 people on our team made a huge wave of peace. The game is about collaboration on the most beautiful levels. Love is at the core of this game.
I feel such a higher frequency.
At this critical time, when we are becoming more and more divided, this game serves as deep medicine to heal that which separates us.
Of course I want to play the game. Of course I want to be a part of that. Of course I want to.
The end game is that you get initiated as a Dreamkeeper when you've done all 7 actions.
Our team is all over the world. The game offers an opportunity for every single human to awaken to the understanding that we are all prophets.
That is so beautiful.
The kids get it. I really believe that our little town here is a prototype of what's possible for our world.
I'm really glad that I played the game.
The frequency was raised again. This is peace on earth. This is what we're here for. This is what we came here to experience.
If you feel the call to be a team leader, know that you can handle it and you will have the support of your team.
Your life is the game. You just show up in your life in this other way. You're befriending the people that you might have just passed by on the street. What if it was actually possible? Peace on Earth is possible by 2030, if you're willing to believe it.
I hope you'll join.
I'll carry the torch. Will you?
Hey, peace on Earth by 2030. Why not? Crazier things have been done on this planet than that. You can do this. Okay, so let's put some foundation underneath that. So a few things that I want to share. One is that we will begin starting on the 17th to participate in World Unity Week. And we will start with these 7 frequencies, which I will share with you in a moment. That was essentially the essence or the spiritual essence of the actions. The actions were the spiritual, well, not the spiritual, were the essence of the strategies that came out of the Earth Run. And each day I will be offering a meditation. We call it Peace on Earth by 2030 Frequency Meditation Journey. And the 7 frequencies will build on each other. These are also going to be occurring on the evening before the day that's dedicated to that frequency to sort of prime the field. As you go through each of these frequencies in the meditation, these are hour-long classes or hour-long journey, hour-long meditations that build on each other. You'll be applying that frequency the next day in your life and applying it to yourself, applying it to your family, your friends, your co-workers, your community, to humanity. And this will prime you for playing the game. It will also do a second thing. If enough people start to practice these, we will actually start to shift the field, what you might call creating a unitive field built around these 7 frequencies. We created a Jedi training where we first delivered these 7 frequencies. We had 30,000 people. Thank you, Tammy, for Unify helping us get the word out. And we, I believe, started to build a new field, a morphic field around these 7 frequencies. These 7 frequencies are also what we see as the portal into the golden age, that which we all aspire to have happen. Peace on Earth is the pathway. So let me just briefly spend a moment on the frequencies so that you understand them. Let me just tee them up here. So the first frequency is on empowerment. And this is also associated with each of the actions. So in this frequency, you will be growing your own sense of self. You'll be then looking at how to empower others. And then as you go on that journey, you'll also be collecting what we call an empowerment talisman, or a jewel that will have the properties of empowerment that will take you on the journey as you go into a deep meditation. So that's the first, and this is, of course, the first day of World Unity Week. So this will get you primed, and it'll also start to build the field, and it will prepare you for the game. The second frequency is oneness, and this is, again, opening up the space of oneness within self, and then oneness with all those different levels in your life. Again, when Miranda speaks about the game, she'll explain how this plays out in the 7 actions. I'm just speaking to the frequencies. Then we move into unity, which is really about how we bring the world together in common cause. Then we move into cooperation, abundance, love, and faith. So those are the 7 frequencies. Each day will be an opportunity to work with of one of them. And then on the last day, we will integrate them all together. And that will integrate into what we call golden age consciousness, where these 7 frequencies then evolve into something greater than the sum of the parts. So that's the frequencies. What I'd like to do now is to hand it over to Miranda. So Miranda, how to describe Miranda? That is a difficult question. Miranda is one of the planetary souls who come here to really make things happen. She is all about impact. And I have the good fortune to have her be working with me as our Director of Operations and Development. She's also the game manager. She personally has played the game 5 times. She has befriended more people than anyone else on the planet. She already had most of those people somewhere in her network as friends, but she now doubled or tripled her number. So if you want to know anybody on the planet, speak to Miranda. Miranda, talk to us about the some people are really ready to want to be more friends, be friends with you, have more friends in the making. Talk to us about the game.
Yeah, I'd say I know personally probably 80% of the people in this room. So it's so good to see all of you. And so hard to present because that video makes me cry every single time. The game is put onto a technology platform that anyone can access. This is peace2030.earth, and anyone can go here and explore. When you first come to the page, you'll land on this page, and where I'm going to take you now is the About section. When you play the game, the main way to play as a team is people do an info session in their community. Sometimes you knock on people's doors, sometimes you're putting out flyers, you do an info session that lets people know about how the game works. And we guide you through all of this. You set up a team, and your team plays for anywhere from 4 to 6 months together by actually gathering together and doing the actions of the game. So in brief form, David told you the frequencies, which are the 7, which are inside of the 7 actions of the game. The game, as he said, came from the actions that actually united people in the first Earth run in 1986, when 25 million people gathered around the planet to have the Earth run happen. Now those actions happen as a team in your community with each other. We befriend each other, we create unity events, we go through empowerment to really figure out our vision of why we would want to be a peace leader. So these are the 7 actions of the game. As David said, you can see the first word is kind of the frequency or the main essence of the action and what it does. Empowerment, we're led through gathering the vision of why is peace important to me? What do I want to be as a peace leader? What does this look like to me? Why am I interested in this? Why do I want to be on a team or be a leader or transform my community? Oneness is about befriending other people. This is our highest scoring action, and some of our youth are some of the highest scorers, with befriending as many as 1,800 people at one time in one session of the game. Some of them have scores that high. Unity is about a lot of these kind of events that all of us do and how we know each other through having convergence events and being part of unity events. They happen in your community. We have cultural unity ones where we've had people come together and have Indigenous leaders be with other people sharing about the culture that was indigenously there, having youth share with elders, many beautiful things. Cooperation is what causes the most action to happen in your community. So people gather together and figure out what they want to cooperate around to either solve a problem or create amazing things to happen in their community, and start actually learning how to cooperate and doing that a lot together. And it oftentimes involves people that aren't just part of your team, but many people in the community. Abundance is about financially supporting peacemakers and other organizations doing peace in your community. Love, praying for and visualizing peace. So many vigils happen. There are vigils that happen every Sunday globally with this. There's vigils that happen in communities. There's people that make commitments to pray every day for peace and are doing that daily right now and have been for years. Many pieces of this love one, and the visualization and meditation and holding the intention for peace. And a lot of us have been involved with Unify for a long time, which is what they're built around, is that creation of the intention that peace on earth is possible. And then faith. We end with kind of cultivating your faith on, after you've been through the game, what does it look like to hold the faith that peace on earth is really possible? And your game team heads into having an info session for your community to recruit more teams or recruit more people to come into this. But you develop a vision together of what is the faith that we hold now that peace is possible, and how are we working towards that? It's one of my favorite ones of the game, because kids, youth, everybody really gets to vision and say, now that we see some of what's possible, what do we really want to see as possible for peace in the world and peace in our community? So I'll go back out now.
Thank you so much, Miranda. So let's actually see what this looks like on the ground. I've invited 2 of our POE zone leaders from Africa to share their stories of how the game has actually impacted them and their community. And so we have Mary Alice Anyura from Kenya. Mary Alice has been working with us for 10 or 11 years. She is a leader of a major NGO. Mary Alice is amazing. Mary Alice, someone called her in a league of her own. I think that was Letitia, her partner, who will speak later about her journey. Mary Alice, tell us, in a league of her own, in that she has done so much great work in Kenya, and she has done so much great work creating this Peace on Earth song. So can we highlight her a little bit so she can be showcased, so we don't just have to look at her through this one little block? So Mary Alice, tell us a little. Let's wait for her to be showcased, and then we can have her speak. Okay, Mary Alice, welcome. Mary Alice, you are muted.
Thank you, David, and everyone else. I only know David and Miranda, but I am happy to know everyone else who is on today. My name is Mary Alice Anyura, and I am leading the Peace on Earth by 2030 work in the zone of Butula, the POE zone of Butula. Butula is in Busia County, one of the 47 counties in Kenya, in the western part of Kenya. Now, since I have only 5 minutes, I will go very, very fast. Share very, very fast what I have to say. And mine is also just to illustrate that what Miranda has shared about the POE by 2030 game is practical, relevant, and applicable. Now, my organization, ESVA Community Development Initiatives, piloted the POE zone in Butula. My team has 33 players, and we call ourselves Mulembe champs. Mulembe means peace, and also happens to be the word we use for greeting each other every day. So in summary, my zone had 6 teams, 33 players, and we took a total of 231 actions. We befriended 3,335 and engaged 20,932 through the 7 actions that Miranda has outlined very well. So I'll very quickly take you through the actions and just highlight the numbers we were able to achieve, just to illustrate that if we really give it our best, it is possible. So action 1, which was living in harmony. Now in this action, my 33 players attended an empowerment workshop, which is very transformative. And we ended up with major transformations so that they went out prepared to be change agents. First of all, personal agency, and then being change agents in the community, giving community agency. So in this regard, our 33 players reached 99 people directly and impacted 1,025 people. Now, the second action was very interesting. That is creating harmony in the world by befriending those who are different from you. And in this action, we realized major transformations where our players went out of their way to befriend outcast, mentally unstable, homeless people, causing them to be treated with dignity in 2 major market centers. This led to their eventual willingness to seek medical intervention and their eventual reintegration with families and community. Now, my 33 players in this action reached 172 people directly and indirectly impacted 1,576. The third action, as Miranda has already outlined, was also the easiest for my team because my community, the Amarachi of Butula, are always celebrating weddings, funerals, planting, weeding, harvesting, and national holidays. All these awaken the uniting impulse of people. So this action was among the easiest for my team and also the most enjoyable. And here we reached 939 people directly and impacted 1,878. Action 4, which is cooperation for the greater good. And this is where we realized the most action. Now, our team was involved in several activities, including supporting bereaved families, clearing water springs, mobilizing communities to fundraise, to secure community title deeds for 700 plots, influencing market people to treat the mentally ill with dignity, and more activities. So here, farmers, environmentalists, business people were very. Here, I feel if monitoring and evaluation mechanisms are put in place, then we could realize greater sustainability and keep the POE by 2030 alive and ongoing. So, dear first speaker, John, we could both use this building for learning and sustainability.
So Miriam, I'm going to invite you to speed it up a little bit because we are running out 5 minutes. You're a little over. I mean, you're so worth listening to, so I don't want to have to cut you off, but do need to speed it up.
Thank you, David. I'll be very fast. I'll just highlight the figures now. So here we reached directly 1,666 people. A total of 14,530 people were impacted. And then in action 5, we managed to do something that we rarely do in the community, that is use the little resources we have from the vulnerable people to support others. And here we reached 320 people directly, students and staff, and we continue to contribute to this community that supports peace in the community. Now, in the next action, which is praying for and visualizing peace. Most of us in Butula are Christians. We pray, and we undertook to pray every day for 1 year. And so far, 165 people are involved with the 33 players praying. Finally, we held a cafe that brought together 106 people, all of who are willing to continue playing into the second round. And now, instead of the 6 teams we previously had, we are going to have at least 12 teams. In conclusion, the game was highly successful. It served people's lives in very substantial ways and is transforming the community. The Butula POE zone is well on its way, and we are very grateful for this opportunity. I welcome you all to play the game and experience what we have experienced ourselves. Thank you all for listening.
Mary Alice, you are a force of nature. Thank you, dear Mary Alice. You'll get to know Mary Alice quite well, anyone who plays the game, because Mary Alice is going to be one of the teachers of POE zones. One thing she didn't say was that it is now tipped in Butula and there is a demand across the entire community. So she's showing the way for what's possible. So we have time for another POE zone leader, Letitia. Letitia, are you here? I know you don't have great internet connection. Are you around?
Yes, I am, David.
Okay, if we could showcase Letitia, Miranda, that would be great. So Letitia is from South Africa, University of Western Cape. And what Letitia will showcase with us is how this works with youth in Africa, because this is a very, Africa's, I think, I don't know what the percentage is, 60% youth, and youth are looking for a path forward. And Letitia is helping us find that path. And we are good, have the good fortune of working with Letitia also for some time now. So Letitia, tell us about your POE zone at the University of Western Cape in Cape Town.
Thank you so much, David. Good evening, everyone. It's almost 8 in the evening in South Africa, in case you're wondering why I'm saying good evening. So hello, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Yes, when we started, when we were introduced to the empowerment work, I've always had a deep knowing that youth, the change that needs to happen at a much younger age. The students realized that at university is our microcosm of society, and the University of the Western Cape is very blessed to have students from across Africa, all descending to the southernmost tip of Africa to come to the University of the Western Cape. And so the diversity of our student population was the gift of making this possible. So when I just think of that first action, I think I want to just pause on an action one only for the sake of time, befriending the other. One of the greatest changes that I've witnessed is that when students were asked to befriend the other, in residences, we find that very often students want to stay in their dorms. They don't want to mix with others. They go to class and they come back. The academics is their focus. And there's a lot of research that says when students are engaged in educationally purposeful activities, then the chances of them succeeding beyond university is greater. And I thought if they could connect with each other in a different way and break down the barriers, the opportunities for them to succeed, not just graduate, but to find employment, and more importantly, to understand that they need to take agency to become contributors for social change. And befriending the other, for me, is one of the most important actions beyond getting to know yourself, because through befriending the other, students thought initially that it was just about making friends. But when they realized what is other, and other for every human being is so different. For some students, it was race. For others, it was political affiliation, religion. For many of the students, other was even family members whom they had lost connection with. And another insight that was gained was that for some students, they came to realize that there's a part of ourselves that we lose. There's an identity, they've come from somewhere else. They've come into this new university culture, and they were struggling to integrate where they came from with this new culture. And so befriending the other became scaffolded from the point of, who am I? What is my identity? How do I identify with myself? And through that process, I saw how they were able to come together and be a mirror for each other. Because we know with group work, a shift to one person is merely a mirror for what is happening in someone else. And so I'll just share one example. So I had a student who had, she was in her third year. And for the entire period that she had been at university, she had literally just gone to her academic programs and come back. And she had very limited engagement beyond her academics. And so she found the courage through the game to befriend someone in her class in a very different way. And through this process, when she opened herself up and found the confidence to open herself up to other relationships, she actually found that the courage that she got to open herself to other possibilities actually created an opportunity for her to create a new community. And so that student has come back from someone who had been extremely introverted. She's actually come back this year to lead one of the teams. So the change might seem really small, but I've come to learn that every drop makes an ocean. And when our youth can see the possibilities of changing for themselves, and youth across Africa are coming together to co-create change, I really believe that the possibilities are enormous for Africa and for the globe.
Letitia, thank you. I just want to affirm you and not have you in any way undervalue yourself. That Mary Alice has got a lot of numbers. She's built momentum. You have a very different culture. So I want to just acknowledge what you have done, and also to say that you formed 6 more teams out of that group. So you are now in exponential growth mode, as is Mary Alice. It's not a small thing to grow by 6x the experience. So bless you and thank you. So we are now moving into partners. I think I heard, Tammy, that you may have to leave soon. So if I might want to start with you, but you have a few extra minutes beyond just the top of the hour, or is it a hard stop? So let me just build a little context on POE partners, and then I'll start with Tammy, and then I'll have a few others speak. So one of the gifts that came out of, I was honoring Manuel earlier, that came out of the HOLA movement was many partners came together in common cause to say, yes, we can do this. Peace on Earth by 2030 is possible if we cooperate to do this. And a number of our partners are here, and I'll invite a few of them to share beyond Tammy, but we'll start with Tammy. Tammy has a unique role in the history of our work because she is the executive director of Unify, and has been our partner for this whole journey. So I'm so thrilled to have you as a partner. And what I've asked each of our partners to do is to share why they chose to be a partner and what they're doing, how their unique expression of partnership is showing up for them, so that those who might want to be a partner understand how it might look. And they're all different. But one of our goals is that each partner will be in some way benefited directly. It's not just a one-way, let's see how we can further peace on earth, but how can we further what you're already doing so that collectively a greater result happens than would have happened otherwise. So Miranda, if you could just showcase Tammy, and we'll have her start, and then we'll hear from some of our other partners. Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you, David. And hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here and to be participating in the POE zones, the 99 days of peace, the Peace on Earth through 2030, all the different aspects of this global peace movement that's igniting, regardless of what we call it. It's on its way. It's happening. So I'm just thrilled. You know, I watched that video again, and it was so beautifully done, and it reminds me that this is something that we're longing for. Humanity is longing for it. It's within us. When I was younger, around 13 years old, I had a vision of fires, like peace fires, being ignited all around the planet, and people just getting ignited in their soul, and then it would just spread until the entire planet was illuminated, and this feeling of love washed over me, and I was like, oh yes, I want that. I want that. How do we get that in the world? And when I watched this video, I'm reminded of that. It always makes me tear up. And then I'm also ignited with hope, because it's like more and more people are seeing what's possible. And that's what I've, appreciated about David's work. All these years, and going back to the Earth Run. I mean, what a magnificent thing. I remember that when I was a kid, everybody's talking about it. It's all over the news. And just this thing where in the middle of chaotic times, there's this torch that can be carried. And for some reason, it was able to splice through everything else that was happening and be that line of truth, that like just silver, white light line of truth that got through everything else and remains. Like that flame that's burning in Lumbini in Nepal, that is the UNESCO World Heritage Site for World Peace, remains. It's been burning for 36 years. And David's work that he's been working on with these POE zones and the Peace on Earth by 2030 games has been lighting that energetically every time. I don't know if everybody knows that. Maybe you all do. I just learned that recently, that on the website, that little torch goes up and it lights the flame over again. So it's being energetically re-energized by this work. These are not like one-off actions that dissipate and go into nothingness. These are contributing pieces that are part of the whole as this is swelling and becoming and growing. And it's just beautiful. So, David, you asked why we want to be involved. Well, that's why, because this is super important, maybe the most important work that we can be doing together on the planet. And also because of the timing. This is a time when, it's like, you've heard that term, for such a time as this, right? We've all had these kinds of downloads or codes or missions or things that we feel compelled to do, or that is ours to do. And now we're at this convergence point where more and more of that is rising to the surface as collaborative. And the ways in which we can do the things that we're meant to do individually also become collaborative. So this opportunity, and what came up at the Igniting the Holo movement, was this opportunity for us to be in the lanes that we've been being in, and also show up and just see kind of what ways we might be able to link arms and move forward in these new, cooler ways together. So the ways that we're playing together, John, who was here and talked in the beginning, and that we're getting to all participate together is really profound and fun, and just kind of lovely in every way. So how we're participating for Unify specifically, we are, of course, a broadcast partner. We're going to be sharing out the information. We have, oh gosh, Miranda, how many is it? Like 29,000, I think, boots on the ground groups from over the years. So everybody gets invited to participate in the game and to be a leader and to invite their communities to participate, to be a part of World Unity Week and the 99 Days of Peace through Unity. And so there's all of these movements are rising. Even the peace polls are a part of this now. So if POE zone's getting peace polls, and I'm like, I want to see 1 million peace polls in the world. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. And just may peace prevail on earth, for real. And when we do this together, we do collapse time and waveform. So when David's saying Peace on Earth by 2030, it isn't only to give us a deadline so we work harder towards it. It's because by us utilizing this collaboration in greater and greater ways, we get to access exponential intelligence that collapses time and waveform and gets us there faster. So legitimately, we'll be like, wow, how did we just get 20 years worth of stuff done in 3 years. Like, that's incredible. And miraculous. And it is, and that's what we get to have by being with each other on this journey. So Unify will be promoting, broadcasting, giving people toolkits, and then of course participating ourselves as individuals in the game. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
You are, I just always have the one word for you: amazing. Amazing, Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Brilliant and insightful. Insightful into the phenomenon of collapsing time, because that is what we're doing. We are accelerating time. Time is a more malleable thing than many of us realize. Ideas can happen rather quickly if you hit a certain tipping point and if you hold an intention. So bless you. Thank you. So we now want to invite several other of our partners, Peace on Earth partners. So I'm going to invite Tess Gabrielle. Tessakaya Gabrielle is a light. You can tell just looking at her. She's always smiling. And she's been with Pathways to Peace, our longest standing partner in this adventure. We started working with Ava Madison in 1983. She was on our initial first Earth Run team, and she was just starting Pathways to Peace then. And Tessakaya is in that lineage. And so I couldn't be more thrilled to have you as a partner. And yeah, I could go on, but I better save the time for you to speak. So tell us about the why and the how.
Yeah, thank you, David. And Tammy, yes. At one point, I thought I should just throw out my notes. Yes, it's clear why we're being called into this amazing project. Those of us who have been dreaming peace and attempting to activate it for a very long time. So let me say that at Pathways to Peace, we are very excited and ready to take action on peace by 2030. For me personally, the call was clear and compelling, and I immediately said, yes, we want in. And of course, this came through the Igniting the Whole movement. And so I tracked David down and then a couple of times said, you know, we really want to be a part of this, just to make sure that I was clear, that I was feeling this call strongly, and knew that peace would be possible by 2030. When I got back from Igniting the Whole movement, I immediately called in my beloved peace brother, David Wick, who's also going to be speaking, and was excited to tell him about this opportunity. And of course, David also responded with a resounding yes. So I believe this opportunity is exactly what Pathways to Peace has been preparing for throughout our 40 years of peace building. It was delightful to hear that it began with Avon, as David said, who is Avon Madison, is our beloved founder, who passed a year and a half ago, but is now, of course, assisting us from the other side. And so it feels like we're coming full circle, and the time is now. And we are ready. So I'm here today to share about why David and I feel this is the most compelling opportunity of our time, and to invite our partners to join us. So why are we excited to be a partner in peace by 2030? So many reasons. So I'm going to try to review those quickly because I do honor our time. So first of all, the leadership. It's no small thing. We trust David's intention, his integrity, his history and experience in getting big things done. And we know Miranda, we know her dedication, her hard work, and her clear competence. So the leadership is really inspires additional confidence in our ability to make this happen. The project has already accomplished big things. In the beta testing, you've heard from the Ozone leaders, very inspiring. Thank you so much, Mary Ellis and Letitia. We so appreciate you, and the video opens our hearts, and then you bring it into focus. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So there's already demonstrated success. Both David and Miranda approach their work with integrity and a huge commitment to partnership and achieving real results. I was personally immediately drawn in by the metrics. You know, I cannot tell you how many hours I have contemplated how to measure peace, and metrics are built into this model. But even more than all of that, I believe this is the approach that will move the needle on peace. I believe we can. I have faith we can and will see peace by 2030. And we're going to accomplish it in our joy. So most of us, as Tammy was so beautifully articulating, most of us feel the energy of our time. We know that the time is right, and there is readiness, if not hunger, for peace. It's not lost on us that 7 is a sacred number, and we have 7 frequencies and 7 years to accomplish peace by 2030. So it's bringing in all of the energies, including the sacred energies, to support the accomplishment of this goal. We know the time is now, and peace by 2030 is the right vehicle for us to garner all of our diverse energies and bring them to bear on this common mission and passion for peace. All of the success factors are built into this model. It has the right components to focus our collective intention, as well as to strengthen our collaborative work together, locally and globally, to accomplish, again, the shared mission of peace on earth. So again, I would ask myself and have, so why wouldn't we engage wholeheartedly? And it's been such an amazing opportunity for us to work closely with David and Miranda. So again, at Pathways to Peace, we've been preparing for this for 40 years. While we believe that peace by 2030 will accomplish its goal, we know it will only take place in collaboration with others. And so we believe ourselves, and we recognize that it will only take a little willingness from others to engage and to give it a go. So we also know that embedded in this project, as you've all heard, is the opportunity to transform ourselves. And we believe that that transformation and coming together in the synergy that it produces, what is called for in Pathways to Peace's commitment to accelerating unity consciousness, which is the underpinning of peace on earth. So lastly, most of you know about Pathways to Peace, thanks in large part to our beloved founder, Eben Madison, our incredible co-founder, Joni Chirdelli, and my peace brother, David Wick. And we are celebrating our 40th anniversary on December 8th. Through the years, we estimate that we have a network of about 1,000 organizations that care deeply about peace. Can you imagine, as we had, what will happen when we coalesce to bring peace to our planet by 2030? That's what we're going to be about. We're going to be about engaging our partners, and together we know we can do it. The time is now. The opportunity is here. We're ready to go. So let's make it happen. David and Miranda, thank you, thank you, thank you for this incredible opportunity. Thank you.
Wow, Tez, I think you held your own quite well. So thank you for not dissing your talking points. Brilliant, so beautifully articulated, so powerful what you are bringing and the spirit you're bringing. So we're honored to have you as a partner. So while we have you as a partner, we also have a twofer in that we have David Wick, and David Wick is both part of Pathways to Peace, but he is also very active in Rotary Club and is bringing Rotary Club into partnering with us. So we're going to invite David to speak, and David has been on this journey with us, although David, we haven't really had much time to know each other over the decades that we've implicitly been partnering. I've so enjoyed getting to know you over the last month or so, and feeling your spirit and deeply inspired by this amazing network that you've built with Rotary Club, and want to hear what your thoughts are about where it can contribute. David.
Well, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here, and as we have talked about, that you and I have been aware of you for many years, and actually aware of the First Earth Run, but this is the first time we've really come together to be able to get to know each other and say, yes, let's do this together, which is very exciting. And yes, so I'm here I'll share about the Rotary E-Club of World Peace and Rotary at large. And I'll tell you a little story about how I got here. And as you've heard, I've been with Pathways to Peace from the very beginning, working with Dave Madison and from the beginning of 40 years ago, and which has been an incredible journey. It's been phenomenal in parallel with my my professional work in the corporate world and so on, but always bridging the two, how you bridge the two into the peace building through business. And from that work and deep work with Pathways, with a focus on the culture of peace and the Ambassador Chaudhry and the UN, and the many aspects of Pathways, the peace wheel, and the approach, how peace begins with each of us individually. I was able to, when I moved to Ashland, Oregon, where I am now, to co-create with my partner, Irene Kai, the Ashland Culture of Peace Commission. And that was to ground the whole concept of the culture of peace in a community, to make it, how do you work with the city? How do you work with the community? And all the aspects of a culture of peace, which we did. And I was then invited by Barbara Mueller to join in with we come to the Rotary E-Club of World Peace and present about the Ashland Culture Peace Commission, which I did in 2018. And after that, I was invited to join the Rotary E-Club. And I thought, well, perhaps I'll take a look. And as I started to look into Rotary, and also the Rotary E-Club of World Peace in particular, these are some of the things that I found. So Rotary is some fundamentals. It basically is about service. It's service above self. Rotary is about service, and some of you may know about that. You may be Rotarians yourself. One of the key cornerstones is the four-way test, which is a foundation. And it's the four-way test of the things we say and do. And the four things. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? That's a fundamental of Rotary. Another is there's a list of 5 different codes of conduct, but the first one was act with integrity and high ethical standards in my personal and professional life. I'm going, that's aligned. Great, great. So then understanding more, taking a look at Rotary at large, it's a huge network. It's a huge system. It has a, at this point, 1.3 million members, and which is in 200 countries around the world. And also there's 36,000 Rotary clubs. And I'm going, holy mackerel, this is amazing. This is amazing, created and highly valued organization who is totally focused on service. Now, certainly the people are in different places in their growth and evolution as well as clubs, but this is a fundamental of what this is. And joining the Rotary E-Club of World Peace, which is specifically focused on peace and peace building. And from the very beginning, which was formed in 2016, and joining the E-Club, I was then invited to be president last year, which I was, and delighted that we bringing the Pathways to Peace work into the E-Club has helped to evolve the E-Club and has grown. And the E-Club is seen as a leader within Rotary International, bringing peace building and bringing, we remove the edges. No subject is off our table, which you deal with. So again, part of this is, for example, the vision of the Rotary E-Club is together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting culture of peace across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. So this is something, one is absolutely working with David and Miranda and the whole concept of the Peace on Earth 2030, it's totally aligned with. And David is invited, he's going to be a guest speaker probably in July, and bringing this into the Rotary Club. So we're going to do that, and we're going to help educate our club members. We have 95 club members from across the country in 9 countries, and then bringing it into the Rotary at large, because you can imagine with 36,000 clubs around the world, and I'm sure in every one of your cities there's a Rotary Club. So a couple of things I'd like to say is, when you're talking about befriending the other, take a look at your Rotary Club where you are and reach out and make a connection there. And you may be introducing, fundamentally, everything Rotary does is around peace building, even though they may not talk about that. But those are avenues for you to bring in the peace building and the Peace on Earth 2020 as a potential. Also look at other service clubs. Take a look at Lions, look at the Elks Club, etc. A lot of people think it's about old farts, old stodgy people. It's like, hey, they want young people, they want new blood, they're looking for that. So these are all avenues to come in and to build upon. So look for the existing networks. They're based on high values, but now it's time for new juice, new possibilities, and certainly the Peace on Earth 2030 is one of them. So thanks a lot, and I put my information in the chat if you'd like more information. Thank you, and thank you, David and Miranda. Just to move this forward, and all the people that already have and are engaged. I'm delighted to be here.
David, thank you. I'm delighted to play with you, co-create with you, see if we can get Rotary Club to go to the next level. There's a little history here I mentioned to you. One of our key partners in 1986 that helped us pass the torch of peace around the world was Rotary Club. Mm-hmm. So we've already had this great experience with the power of the Rotary Club. They so were aligned. And so the talk that David's been asking, that's asked me to lead, is based on let's finish the job. We started in 1986. We got 3 months of Peace on Earth. Let's see if we get this done. So we'll see if that will motivate more members of Rotary Club to show up, because they're so action-oriented. David. You are a great representative of the Rotary Club and Pathways to Peace and Humanity. So thank you. Okay, so that brings us to closure formally of our POE partners. I want to just invite two other people who have shown up, one unexpectedly, who we were going to have do a video. But before I do that, I just want to show a slide to honor all our POE partners. So these are all our partners. So just take a moment to digest. We want to honor each of them. They've each said yes. They've said yes to wanting to help. They each are helping in their own distinct ways. And a number of them are here, but two of them I want to just give a quick shout out to and offer a moment for them to speak. We don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to honor Antoinette, and I wanted to honor Lev, who wanted to just say a quick word about their projects. So let me stop there. And then just Antoinette, you are here. I think you are in Hawaii time. So this is early, maybe a little early for you, but you came here anyway. I know you were going to do a video. Maybe this was the alternatives because you didn't get the video done. You felt you need to come in person. But thank you. So Antoinette, just again, given time, just a brief why you chose to partner and what that partnership might look like.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, David. So yes, it is very early in the morning. When I got on the flight, I was sitting next to two women. And when I was sitting next to these two women, they had told me about, I told them about my trips in Africa. And one of the women said that, she said that she said, be very careful. Be very, very, very careful when you go to Africa because of all the things that's going on. I said, I know exactly what's going on in Africa. And that's why we went to 12 countries. And also at the same time, she said she went to South Africa because her husband used to work there, and why they were talking about the dangers and the problems that was happening and with the peace. And this is the reason why I was explaining to her, I do know exactly what's going on there. And I do know why that there's no peace in certain areas and why there's trouble and why they felt unsafe. So I said, this is the way that we can sit there and address these situations. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to partner up with my organization, Stand Up for Justice, because I saw what can be done and what the problems that we're facing. How do we help them? How do we help these individual youths and leaders so that way they can sit there and get out of the situation that they're in and sit there and also give them hope? Because when people don't see hope, they don't actually feel the hope and they can't actually move. But we're always stronger together, and we're stronger together. We actually move and are able to do a lot more things together and better. So our experience when we went to Jordan, Israel, and the Palestine, that was such an amazing experience because we didn't really have to say much, and I think more importantly, the less talking and the more action that we're actually doing, the example will be set by the actions that we actually do. When we set those, then we don't have to keep doing all these Zooms. And we don't have to keep telling everybody what we should be doing. They can see it and that they can actually want to be a part of it. And they can see the lives that are being changed by it. So that's my commitment and to you guys and my participation with my organization to try to achieve peace on earth. Thank you.
Antoinette, bless you. Thank you for saying yes. And thank you for your commitment to serving our friends in Africa. And yes, Mary Alice, you two will connect. We'll get you guys connected in due course so we can get that Kenya part of the Africa trip to the next level. So we have another moment for Lev. Lev, are you here? From
Yes.
Living Cities Earth, there you are.
Thank you so much.
You had made a special request because you've been doing a lot of work, and I wanted to give you a moment to share what some of whose Living Cities Earth are and what you've done, but we only have a couple of moments. So if we're going to run over a little bit, so those that have to leave on the half hour, feel free to do that. But if you can stay, please do.
Thank you,
then
David.
Miranda will close it out with next steps.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Miranda, the whole team, and everybody who participates. Greetings from Seattle. Living Cities Earth is a very young child of the universe. We were created 1 year ago in Amsterdam. We have headquarters in Zurich, in Switzerland, and a global network of co-founders, partners throughout the world. David met with us about a couple of weeks ago at our Earth Day Summit, where we had participants from 154 cities from 45 countries. That was our first public event. So we are now planning the next one in the end of June, which will be part of the World Unity Week. It will be a global Happy Cities Summit. And we plan to connect with city leaders from 2,000 cities worldwide from 120 countries. So we look forward to sharing the message of peace on Earth with local communities, local leaders in many different languages. And we're very, very excited to work with every one of us, all our organizations, and build this peace on Earth by 2030. Thank you very much. And we have the whole team here, about 4 people representing. So we're very, very, very much excited and love working together. All the best.
Thank you. You did well on time, among other things. And Lev is a force of nature in his own right. So we look forward to working with your larger network. How many cities do you have in your network, and what is your goal for your cities, just so people have perspective?
Just to share, so our mission is to work with 1 million leaders of positive change in 10,000 cities on planet Earth. Of course, it will take us a couple of years to get there. We now have the database of 2,000 cities with whom we communicate, and we're building the network on the ground in the early stage. But our sort of co-founders, we already worked with more than 100,000 city leaders in many, many different countries. So we bring our resources together to get to the next stage.
It's transformation meets cities. It's an amazing vision and an amazing team. So we are delighted to partner with you. So with that said, let us have a moment for Miranda to tell you what the next steps are. Miranda, how you can play the different levels and what the next months look like. Please, Miranda.
Carlin, can you share in the chat the link for people to sign up for the different things? But I'll briefly go through it. David reviewed in the beginning. It's can be a bit confusing on all the options that are there right now, but we would love to see as many of you as possible in as much of it as possible. All of it is meant to be woven together. So we beautifully start on June 17th, the next round of the game. So on Saturday, it's Saturday, the opening day of World Unity Week, and at 7 p.m. Eastern time will be an explanation of the game, a short version of what we're talking about today, and then straight, leading into frequency number 1 of empowerment on that Saturday. And David will lead a beautiful meditation, a meditation that has actually profoundly changed my life. And every time I go through it, I realize how much, more these frequencies need to be infused into myself, my family, my block, my neighborhood, my community, and on Earth, and even our connection to the cosmos as well, which is what David leads with each of these frequencies and our deeper understanding of that. When you go into the playing of the game, then we do the actions of that and actually act out how we place these frequencies in our communities and with ourselves and with our families and with each other, and growing the movement globally. So after Saturday, we present in World Unity Week every single day. After Saturday, it'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday through Friday. And then we'll be part of the closing ceremonies of World Unity Week on that Saturday, but more briefly. The frequencies will be led Saturday through Friday. And there will be a sign up link in the link that you click. If Carlin's not able to share it, I'll share it in just a minute. After that, we do another info session, one that is going to be exactly like this. So if you've attended this already, you don't have to come again, but this one is going to be specific to all of our Kenya people that are coming in, massive amounts of Kenyan leaders coming in wanting to join this, as well as all over Africa and then globally. So on July 5th, another info session. It will be at noon and 9 p.m. Eastern time to try to cover much of the world being able to attend at that time. then we actually start the playing of the game in a very unique version that will be online for anyone that isn't quite ready to step into being a leader and lead their own team or their own zone yet. You can join our online version of the game and come every Sunday between July 16th and September 10th. So for 9 weeks, we will play all of the actions of the game. We'll be on teams together. You'll get to share, you'll get to do actions in between each of the weeks, go out and befriend people, get points, get earn medals through the actual game. And then our hope is by September 21st, International Day of Peace, we will have commitments for as many as possible, 1,000 zones to start, 1,000 boots on the ground game teams to start by September. Our goal is more into the 20,000 zones in the near future. So we have some big years ahead of us. So this is our first push with the 99 Days of Peace. So please do join us for World Unity Week to experience all the frequencies and the meditations every evening. And then join us to play the game July 16th. Thank you for being here with us.
So friends, we are officially complete.